Letters from a Slave Girl, pages 126 to 136. June 1st, 1842. Dear Aunt Betty, a word from you always keeps me strong. Nearly 7 years has passed over my head since that black night when I climbed out the window at Auburn. When Gran and John want me to turn myself in, it was you who sent the message, "Don't give up." Now I need a wise head more than ever. But who do I ask? Peter has just come to see me, grinning like a man in the moon, and he brung some bright shining news. "Your day is here, Harriet," he whispers at the trapdoor. "I found a chance for you to go to the Free States. You got 2 weeks to decide." You would think leaving my cell would be easy as taking a drink of water, but will Joseph be safe? What if Norcom decides my son still belongs to him? And Gran, she will raise scratch and say she can't stand to lose any more family. Time. It creeps and pokes along like a mule all these years. Then suddenly 2 weeks don't seem long enough to balance the gladness of freedom against the danger of escape. Harriet. Please stop here and answer question 1. June 10th, 1842. Dear Aunt Betty, I've been thinking it over. I will talk to Joseph before I go and explain that I'd be waiting for him at the North. Gran been knocking on the trapdoor every night crying over missing you and crying over losing me. Last night she says, "Write the doctor when you get there. Tell him I will buy you from him." But I won't have Gran sell her home and everything in it for my free papers. Besides, I remember long years ago and my daddy saying, "In the eyes of God, Harriet, you already free." Harriet. June 14th, 1842. Dear Aunt Betty, I am to leave by ship tomorrow night, but Gran is carrying on something awful. Charity's son James been caught after running away. They give him a heavy lashing and put him in jail with bread and water. Rumors flying around town like bees. Folks say they're going to put him in the cotton gin and screw it down so he can't move. Gran is scared pink and begging me not to go. "Harriet," she moans, "you going off smiling, but you be coming back crying." Gran and I, we both remember Uncle Joseph lying in prison looking white and spongy as a ghost. And you, Aunt Betty, locked in the cold jail with John and the children. Now even Uncle Mark telling me to hold off. This fear is a fever spreading through the house. Escape was so simple for John. Harriet. Please stop here and answer question 2. June 15th, 1842. Dear Aunt Betty, bad weather coming up and the ship still sitting out in the Sound. Gran and Mark and I agree. Without involving my name, Gran has given my place to Aunt Sue's Sarah. The price of taking a stowaway is dear, same as a ticket to England. But a chance for freedom don't come round too often. We can't fling it away, not when Sarah needs help. Peter's disappointed with me, but he fixed it so Sarah can board the ship tonight. Harriet. June 17th, 1842. Dear Aunt Betty, the weather been stormy for 2 days now and the ship is still not left. Peter told us poor Sarah is scared nigh to death when they carry her out to her cabin. And with high waves tossing the boat, this waiting must be a torment to her. Gran thinks Sarah will be caught, and we will all hang between the heavens and earth till we dead, dead, dead. Aunt Betty, your mother is aged since you left us. Her face is lined with her worries of 73 years. I try to calm her, but we've been together so long. What she feels, I feel, so we both half crazy with fear. Harriet. Please stop here and answer question 3. June 18th, 1842. Dear Aunt Betty, I write to you with trembling hands. This morning Gran raps her signal for me to come down to the storeroom. We are looking out at the clearing skies and talking about the ship. Then we hear that sneaky Jenny out on the piazza. "I've been hunting everywhere for you, Aunt Molly," she calls all sugar sweet. "Mrs. Blount wants you to send her some crackers." Silently I slipped down behind the barrel, but my heart beat loud as the wings of a wild turkey. Gran quick shuts the storeroom door, locks it, and goes with Jenny to count the crackers. A few minutes later Gran comes back. "Poor child," she says, "my carelessness has ruined you. The boat ain't gone yet. Get ready right now and go with Sarah. I ain't got another word to say against it now, for there's no telling what may happen this day." So here I sit, back in my hole, waiting for Peter to see if the captain will take another runaway. And who knows where Jenny is flapping her jaws? If she did see me, she knows better than to admit to Martha Blount she has been nosing around, and the Norcoms won't agree to talk to some gossipy slave till after supper. But I know that household all too well. They done eaten by dusk. Just at that time I will walk to the wharf. Harriet. Please stop here and answer question 4. Afternoon. Dear Aunt Betty, less than an hour before leaving here forever. Peter been waiting for me in the street soon. Gran bring Joseph to me in the storeroom. My poor boy hardly knows what to think. Seeing his mamma appear for the first time in 7 years, only to hear she leaving again. But you know my son, Aunt Betty. You watched over him same as you watched over me and John when we lived in the Norcombe house. He is wiser than his 12 years, Joseph says. Mamma, I've been so afraid they'd come and catch you. How did you find out? I asked him, surprised. I was standing under the eaves one day, he says, and I hear somebody cough up over the storeroom. I don't know what made me think it was you, but I did. And this is why he's been so watchful, always running to Gran if he smells danger nearby. I hear him many a time playing with other children and talking about me being in the north. Joseph, I promise him, one day the Lord going to send you to me, and we will live together with Louisa. Then he starts to tell me how Gran has not passed a bite of food by her lips all day. When in come Gran with her bag of money, I beg her to keep it to pay for Joseph's way north. But you might get sick among strangers, she says, and they would send you to the poorhouse to die. Oh, my good grandmother. I look around at these rough walls. They've been hateful as poison, but they've done the job. And now I stop this letter. Gran calling me to climb down and pray. Dear Aunt Betty, I know you are next to the Lord. You pray too. Harriet. Please stop here and answer question 5. Evening. Dear Aunt Betty, Worry's sticking to me like cockleburrs. Captain, he has our ticket money now. Nothing to stop him from turning us in for the reward. But Sarah says don't fret. In her 3 days on the ship, everybody been kind. When the captain brung me down to our little box of a cabin, Sarah just sat there with her mouth open. Harriet, is it you? She says, or your ghost? We hold each other tight, and my fears flow out in great sobs. Then the captain comes back to shush us. For my safety and yours, he says, it would be prudent not to attract any attention. As far as the sailors know, he told us, you are women going to meet your husbands in Philadelphia. The boat is passing the snaky swamp now, and there is still enough light to make out the buildings that rim the bay. From here, Edenton is a toy town, like the ones John used to make out of sticks and sand. The wind is against us, so the boat moves slow as a giant snail. Me and Sarah, we anxious to put miles behind us. Don't want to be playing peep squirrel with constables who search the ships. I am weary in my bones, but I won't sleep, not when I can still feel Joseph pulling at my arm down by the wharf. I've been looking in the doctor's window, he tells me as I climb in the rowboat, and he's at home. Goodbye, Mama, Joseph says and waves. Don't cry, I'll come. Then my fine boy turns and runs back home. Well, I am breaking that promise about crying. Harriet. Please stop here and answer question 6. June 19th, 1842. Dear Aunt Betty, this I will remember till the longest day I live. The sunshine warming my skin, the breeze sliding by my cheeks. Dear old friend, we are sailing along the Chesapeake Bay like butterflies on the sky. The captain says 10 days till we land in Philadelphia. I've still got suspicions, but I try to swallow them. Captains say he was born and raised in the slave states and his brother was a slave trader. I guess he's trying to make up for evil done by his kin, but it's hard to trust a white man. He says we can stay above board all day unless the sail hoves in sight. I walk up and down the deck till my wobbly legs give way, and Sarah and I have been talking like starving folks eat. She rubs my poor limbs with salt water while I tell her the story of my hiding years. Then I hold her hands while she tells me about losing her girls on that awful auction day. Sarah has suffered more than me, because her baby's gone forever. I spare her my thoughts about Louisa, but I can't help smiling inside. My arms be wrapped around my Lulu in only a few weeks if the captain don't sell us and that boat don't sink. Harriet. Please stop here and answer question 7. Molly Horniblow, King Street, Edenton, North Carolina, June 30th, 1842. Dear Gran, this is the first real letter I ever sent to my family. Be strange to tear the page from my book and know it will be delivered. The captain will make sure you get it, but mind who reads it to you. Make sure they trust you. Sarah and I looking for the sun to come up. I won't let on where we are, but a big city waits for us right outside this ship. Go on shore in broad daylight, the captain says, is the best way to avoid confusion. Gran, you wouldn't know your Harriet. Moving round and rubbing with salt water has helped my legs. I can almost walk regular. But my face, it's blistered from the sun and wind. I am peeling like the bark of a birch tree. First thing Sarah and I going to find is a shop that sells double veils and gloves. That way we can look out at people, but they can't stare so easily at us. Next thing is to find some folks to help us. You know they always say the poor slave got many friends in the North. Well, we fixin' to see if that's true. Then I gotta find a way to New York and Louisa. Hope those blue bloods been good to her. I wonder, can she read and write? In all her 9 years she was only with her mamma in the baby time. I can't give the years back and am troubled in my heart about it. I will write to you when we settled in New York so Mark can bring Joseph. My son had to grow up too fast. Hope I can put the light back in his serious eyes. When I get my children I will go look for John up in New Bedford. And if the Lord can spare me any more happiness, our John will be back from his voyage in one piece. Then we can be a family together, maybe a little house on our own. And you'll be with me too, dear grandmother. I'll be feeling your arm around my shoulder wherever I go. The waves all sparkly with light now, Gran, and the city is stretched out in front of us. For the first time ever in my life, I see the sun rising on freedom. Your loving Harriet. Please stop here and answer question 8 and 9.